Can AI take over or replace a full company? Why Combinator is betting on it. We look into their 2025 call for startups to create full stack AI companies. It's not developing AI tools for industries, but creating full businesses with AI at their core. We explore what this means for traditional or so-called dinosaur industries like real estate, manufacturing, construction, professional services, and so on, and how businesses can adapt and capitalize on this new paradigm shift. Let's accelerate your business. Welcome to the AI Accelerator for Business show, where you get the latest strategies, tactics, and information about the business benefits of artificial intelligence. My name is Carl Ye, and I'm joined by my co-host, Jeff Bradshaw. And today we're talking about Y Combinator's new request for startups in the summer of 2025, specifically their number one request, which is full stack AI.
Carl, this is an interesting topic because the full stack AI model empowers businesses to integrate AI deeply into their operations, enabling them to outpace traditional competitors by offering more efficient and scalable and innovative services. So it's a pretty hot topic.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, here's the video that when Y Combinator is talking about full stack.
At YC, we would like to fund more founders working on full stack AI companies. What is a full stack AI company, you ask? Let me explain. Suppose you believe that LLMs are now able to automate a lot of legal work. There's two things you might do with that insight. You could build an AI agent and sell it to law firms. That's what most people do. Or you could start your own law firm, staff it with AI agents, and compete with the existing law firms. And that, my friends, is going full stack. You could do this for any industry, especially one dominated by slow-moving incumbents. Instead of selling to the dinosaurs, you could simply beat them. If you're ambitious enough to work on an idea like this, we'd love to work with you.
I think my favorite line here was about the dinosaur, right? About like, you know what, if you're not going to sell to the dinosaur, we'll just make them extinct, which I thought was very funny. But also, it's kind of crazy how in the spring, they were talking about vertical AI agents, but a lot of it was tools you would sell to companies. But within one season, like, forget selling to the companies, let's just build the companies.
Well, and I wonder if the reason for that is that they're seeing a lot of hesitation from some of these dinosaurs, these slow-moving, large industries, services that just aren't moving quickly enough. So they're going, well, then just eat them, and that's the interesting part about this. And I think, when I look at this, it's exciting, but it's also tough to wrap your head around. Like, how would you create something that could replace a traditional service? But then when you start to think a bit more about it, you're going, well, wait a minute here. Maybe there are possibilities.
Someone was talking about most of the AI tools that are available, large language models, voice, video. I would be very hard pressed to say that they, by themselves today, can replace an entire company by itself. It's very hard to see that, even if, whether it's people like us that know how to run AI, we have more knowledge than most of the lay person about what AI could do. Even if we put all that together, it's still very difficult to completely take over a company or an industry. But I think this is where it's like, hey, that statement might not be true in 6 months, in a year. And if you get the ability for people now to start thinking about, hey, how can I disrupt the legal profession? How can I disrupt the accounting profession? How can I disrupt property management, real estate, and so on? What does that look like? And maybe it's better to start now to start seeing where the challenges are, but also where maybe the opportunities are as well.
Well, and I like, this makes me think of an old quote of, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. And I think that by meaning that is that if you can't start to think about what the possibilities are in a certain industry and you're just looking at your feet, you're not looking ahead to the future. And I think so many people have the blinders on, because I see it all the time. Somebody will try an AI tool and they'll say, yeah, see, I tried it, like a video generation tool. And they'll say the video sucks, so AI sucks. And I'm going, no, it sucks today. But if you would have taken a look at the video generating tool 3 months ago, you go, what massive improvements. And so think a month, 2 months, 6 months down the road. So like you say, go to where the puck is, the old Wayne Gretzky quote. If people start to think about what the possibilities are, then you can start, as the technology develops, you should be able to get there, and probably sooner than most think.
I think that's the tough thing with, and we've heard a lot of this where people have said, AA is not good enough, so I'm not going to use it, or it doesn't work for us. I think like the tough thing with AI versus every other technology out there is the speed of progress. People don't actually connect the dots of how fast things are moving, because it's like, oh yeah, it'll get there, but we're talking. I've heard from some of the top influencers in marketing, top influencers in business say, oh, we're not going to get there. We're still 5, 10 years out. Change their tune very, very quickly within 6 months to say, oh, we're actually that timeline suddenly becomes closer. And I think it's not that they don't believe in it, but more so they didn't anticipate the speed of how things move and how AI itself changes. And it's just not a static thing that old technology has always been.
No, and I think you're seeing it in certain industries already. And just, to name a couple, I mean, if you think about law firms, about accounting firms, if you think about real estate agents, if you think about stockbrokers, if you think about marketing companies, those are all things where if you ask somebody now, because I've got buddies in those industries and I love them dearly, but they'll say, oh no, AI will never replace what I'm doing. I'm like, really? Like maybe AI will enhance it. So maybe I don't need 5,000 real estate agents. Maybe 200 real estate agents could service the same number of clients because AI is doing a lot of that setting up showings for homes and giving people information. And you just need the human in the loop to kind of do the final sign off. I don't know. That's where that full stack could come in. But if you think about marketing, I mean, think about the number of tools and campaigns and creative and scripts and voice and video and everything that can be created with AI today. There's going to be a full stack marketing firm in the near future. Old school people will say, nope, can't replace the human. I think that's short-sighted in my opinion.
The one thing though that we probably can see AI running into, let's say, even if you're able to create an amazing AI law firm, I know some people are like, well, you can't do that because like you need a lawyer. I'm like, you'll need one lawyer, maybe two, that can do the work of all the other elements, right? We always talk about, why would I pay a lawyer $800 to write a contract when I can write most of it myself, and maybe I'll just pay him $50 or pay her $100 to finish it off, right? I think though there's still the regulatory hurdles, all the legal aspects of it. Because if I think about law firms, right, you're like, you have regulations, but you also have things like the Law Society of whatever, right? Law Society of British Columbia, Law Society of Alberta. It is in their best interest to ensure the laws and the regulations still favor people.
That's critical. And I think that you have to keep that into consideration. And I know we're kind of bouncing around here, but that comes down to that whole ethical side of things. So why Combinator comes out and says, hey, we want full stock AI businesses. From a capitalist standpoint, hey, I can make a ton of money if I can create a law firm that can do the work of 100 lawyers. That's great. That's going to line my pockets. Yeah. What does that do to the 100 lawyers that are out of work because they're being replaced by an AI tool? And now you have a massive societal problem. And I keep going back to this, but I mean, that is a big thing that I think we have to look at from a societal standpoint, because from a capitalist standpoint, a greed standpoint, absolutely. If I'm the guy that owns that full stack business and making gobs of money, perfect. If I'm not, and I'm the unemployed marketing person, not such a great idea.
And we talked about this in our episodes in HR and the future of the workforce and AI. It's just, this was very surprising to me because they weren't holding back anymore. Like some of the comments or some of the videos and what we've seen in the past of people kind of dancing around, hey, it's not going to take jobs, or the old saying, it's not AI that's going to take your jobs. It's the person who knows or how to use AI that's going to take it. With what Y Combinator is doing now, it's like, we're not holding back. It's literally saying we're coming after the industries. Like, the industry is now being put on notice. Will all these startups that are going to be put in, will they all be successful? Obviously not. History dictates the numbers aren't in their favor, but there will be some that will be successful. And to me, it's very interesting to have human-led companies versus AI-led companies going head-to-head. So
but what do we do? What happens? Let's just say 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, AI, full stack AI companies have basically decimated certain traditional businesses. What do we do from a societal standpoint? Everybody says, well, everybody's going to get reemployed because they'll be like building data centers.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily buy that. And that's probably one of the things that keeps me up at night, is that I don't necessarily buy that. So, is it going to be a big, massive welfare system?
Though that's the comment about, UBI, right? Universal basic income, because in every single technological revolution we've had, printing press, agriculture, right, industrial revolution, you would say the internet or the computer revolution in the 90s, it took time. There was a time gap, and people found things that you could do. With AI, I think I really believe we'll eventually find things to do, but the problem is we don't have the time as much as every other technology has provided. This one is in months and weeks and in short years, not a decade or 2 decades, right? And I think you raise always a good point with that, because I'm like, I don't know. I have no clue what's happening. But the sad thing too is most people don't actually know that it's coming, but they're all thinking, hey, ChatGPT sucks or ChatGPT is awesome to write my email, and that's kind of the extent of it.
And I think that, again, humans base a lot of our decisions and feelings on historical data. And so you're right. People say, well, my mom used to work in a travel agency in the mall, and then Expedia came along, and now she works for Expedia. But I would say, and I always use this comparison, in our generation, we never thought that the world could be shut down in a day. And when COVID hit, we saw something that really caught people by surprise, because it was something we've never seen before. And my fear is that that's what we're going to see with AI in the future. And when you have people like Dario Amodei saying that they're not even certain how certain AI models are making decisions, and yet they're the ones creating the decisions. And you talk about this race to win the AI race, and all these organizations are putting all of their efforts into building, and nobody's necessarily slowing down to think about the negative impacts of it. That's where I have this concern. So I love the Y Combinator from an entrepreneurial standpoint. I'm going, yeah, what can we do? And then I think about, as a dad, I'm going, ooh, this is a bit scary for our kids and the next generations.
But the thing is, how many people know about what Y Combinator actually put out? How many people know what Y Combinator is? Very few. And when we do talk, they're like, oh, what they do is like, this is literally what they're looking like. If we meet with like a group of CEOs, be like, any lawyers here who own law firms, Y Combinator is looking at you. Like, I've never had any, I don't think it's ever precedent in history where like an incubator is like, yeah, you're the dinosaur. We're going to make you extinct. It's on the website. We're literally saying it. So I thought that was very interesting.
Well, totally. And I think it's exciting and scary in the same fact. And I think it's one of those things that it's not going away. So I would say, for any business leaders that are out there, you 100% should be looking at this and saying, where are the opportunities for us to get involved and think about a full stack AI business for our industry? And are there opportunities to transition? And don't ignore the bigger message here, that there could be a competitor that's AI driven that's going to be a heck of a lot more competitive than you currently are in the near future. So prepare for it rather than just ignore it.
Yeah. I think that's an important fact too, because when we go into organizations, and a lot of the clients we deal with are in those slow moving dinosaur industries, right? We still hear, we'll wait till Q4 next year, Q1 next year, or even what we're doing in terms of recommended pilots, doing discoveries. Even with this announcement, I'm not sure we're moving fast enough. I'm thinking some companies are like, you got to move a little faster. We hear the crawl, walk, run. I understand that concept, but I'm like, maybe you want to start with the jog, or maybe the walk first instead of the crawl, like, because of things like this.
Or even start crawling. Don't stand still. I think that's what we see is we see a lot of organizations that aren't even crawling. They're literally standing there, doing nothing. And that's the scary part.
I think you'd be very curious to see if we asked CEOs today, hey, knowing what you know today, how would you restart your business? Or how would you, if you were starting from the beginning, how would you make things different? And I still bet you about 60, 70% of them, sure, there's going to be changes to general operations, but they won't take into consideration something like this, that they'll be, oh yeah, I'm going to make it AI first, not going to hire as many people. I don't think that's how it's permeated into general society or general business yet.
No, and I think the other thing too is people think AI and they think ChatGPT and it's going to be able to do these tasks. I think a big missing component that people aren't paying attention to is the whole world of robotics. And when you now start to see the advancements in robotics, and when you think about things like just whatever, a fast food restaurant, you know, you're already putting your order in at the kiosk at McDonald's. You've still got a few people in behind the counter, not nearly as many as they had probably 10 years ago. So now you're running a fast food restaurant with 10 people rather than 25. What happens when the robotics come in and now they're preparing the food? Now it's down to 2 or 3 people running a restaurant. Now down to you've got one person who's just overseeing everything. I think that's going to happen in the next couple of years. And now you multiply that by every fast food chain out there, every retail business out there that's kind of systematic.
I do think, though, and here's a $1 billion idea, could be one person, $1 billion idea, is for every single disruption. Do you know how we talked about, let's say, when like computers came out first, right? The early 90s, when that was really starting to take off. And then you started seeing all the new types of jobs that are either directly related or indirectly related. I'm sure there is a way for every single industry, perhaps even every single company, to have AI actually determine what are potential new employment opportunities, jobs, businesses that would offshoot from what's happening today. Because I think if businesses can, one, do that, if you're an established business, you know, you've got whatever it is, I would run a shadow company entirely full stack AI. Let's see what that actually looks like. Let's see how that works. But also use AI to be like, hey, what are potential offshoots that I could take advantage from a capitalist perspective, but also retrain my staff to maybe move into that aspect. And this is like super, super forward thinking businesses. But if I was a business, I'd be like, yeah, I got to think of that. Maybe run a project on that, run a project on the shadow AI, and kind of have like place my bets on 2 different things. One is like get into the market first with AI, but also get into the market first where these new businesses that maybe AI would enhance or take or provide new employment opportunities could start popping up.
Well, and I wonder, will there be a full stack computer development, computer programming company out real quick here? Because you talk about, again, I'd hate to have a kid in taking computer science right now and becoming a programmer with what's going on with the technology, because I'm going, you know, will you have a full stack company where it'll just say, here's the idea, the AI is going to come up with the idea, the AI is going to write the code, the AI is going to take it across the finish line, because right now you can't necessarily do that with some of the AI tools that are out there. But I would say in the near term, you will be able to take it right to completion, you know? So, so it is. And I think that that's where we're having these conversations with a lot of organizations. I would encourage anybody who sees this to reach out to us if you're interested in talking more, because like you say, it doesn't hurt, you know, to make a bit of an investment to kind of see if you could run, you know, a company right alongside of your current operations to see what a potential full stack would look for your business.
So a couple of thought-provoking questions for your company, for your business, as you look at potentially full stack disrupting your industry. Could your industry be vulnerable to disruption by full stack AI company? And is it worth maybe using AI, like a deep research to make some predictions, think about where your business is going, and think about like what aspects of your business could be reimagined with AI at its core, and maybe look at ways to change some of your operations. If you want to learn about other AI future trends for business, then check out these videos here. Enjoy today's episode. Want to learn how AI can impact your business? Then please subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in our next episode.